All right, so this is presentation 3 of our Unit 3, and this one's really quick. It's about terrorism. So just make sure if you missed the class where we discussed this one that you watch the video called Searching for the Roots of 9/11 by Thomas Friedman. You can find that on Amazon. It streams on Amazon Prime. If you don't have that, you can look it up on YouTube. All right, so terrorism, the definition is the unlawful use of or threatened use of force or violence against individuals or property for the purpose of causing fear. So they tend to hit things that are symbolic targets, something that everyone's going to know and be aware of. And so they're not necessarily trying to kill tons of people. It's not necessarily their goal. Their goal is just, again, to strike fear. They want to keep you from doing your normal activities, your normal daily activities, or doing things like travel, because maybe you see a terrorist attack in a city in Europe or something like that, and it creates this fear to where you don't want to travel there and do things because of that. So usually they have some kind of agenda, obviously, behind them. It could be political. It could be an ideological view that's fueling their rage. The main terrorist organization we'll talk about is Al-Qaeda. We'll mention other ones later on in the year, like ISIS and Boko Haram. But starting off with Al-Qaeda, because they're the ones that attacked us on 9/11 and attacked us quite a bit throughout the 90s, really. So they are a global terrorist organization. They're the largest one. It used to be controlled by Osama bin Laden, but of course we killed him back in 2011. So now it's led by Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri, and he's pictured there in the bottom right, and he's the leader of Al-Qaeda currently. So they started mainly back in the 70s as a revolt against the Soviet Union when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, late 70s getting into the 80s, and we actually helped Al-Qaeda fight the Soviet Union. So we gave them money, we gave them weapons, and helped supported them in their fight against the Soviet Union into Afghanistan. After the Soviet Union fell, then the anger of Al-Qaeda switched towards the United States being the only superpower. So in the 90s, we're going to see a series of terrorist attacks against the U.S. We had a bombing at the World Trade Center in New York in 1993. You had several embassies bombed throughout the world, mainly in Africa, though, in the Middle East. Throughout the 90s, one of our ships, the USS Cole, was bombed in Yemen. That was either 1999 or year 2000 when that one happened. And then, of course, the 9/11 attacks led by them. So the main thing they're opposed against is American influence, especially in the Middle East. And really, the video that we watched really gets into detail about that. We did create the Office of Homeland Security after the 9/11 attacks to help prop up security at airports, borders, and shipping and stuff like that. So since 9/11, we have not seen a major terrorist attack in the United States from Al-Qaeda. We've seen smaller attacks and stuff like that, but honestly, since then, our biggest problem has been mass shootings by our own citizens. All right, so that is it on terrorism.